Hi everybody, I'm Katherine Ellis and I am a singer and a songwriter. So you can find out more about me at katherineellis.co.uk. I have been a professional in the industry for over 30 years now, and I've done all sorts of things in that time. I mainly ended up working in dance music as a top-line writer. So a top line is the melody and the lyrics, and I tend to write over backing tracks that are sent to me by DJs internationally. I also work on film and TV soundtracks and adverts and what have you. So I've got some questions here from Caroline, which I will answer for you. So question 1, what do you love about your job? Well, I absolutely love performing, which unfortunately is not something I'm able to do during this lockdown. Obviously, I could perform and have actually performed online, but nothing beats a live audience and that incredible feedback when I'm singing live and the audience is loving it. And yeah, I mean, I think that is absolutely the thing that I love most about my work. I do also enjoy writing songs, and again, when I'm performing songs that I've actually written and people are singing along with them, that's a fantastic feeling. And a perk of my job has been a lot of international travel, so getting to see the world and someone else paying for it has been amazing as well. So, what's the best career decision you've ever made? Best career decision. I don't know if there's a best one. I mean, I think just that I decided that I was going to do this as a job really was the best decision I ever made. I'd seen how my mother, who had been to drama school and was a very talented actress, had sort of given up on her dreams, and she'd fallen back on a secretarial course that she had done, and then ended up kind of just doing that. And although she went back to her love of acting and did a lot of it later in life as an amateur, she could have made so much more of it. But anyway, we're talking about me, so I suppose that partly inspired me to think, well, I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm going to really go for it. So I was in a few bands and things as a teenager, but once I got to about the age of 20, that's when I really decided, right, that's it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a singer and nothing is going to stop me. And I've added things to that dream, such as songwriting and some teaching and other things. But essentially, I've actually worked within the music business since I made that decision, and I'm 55 in June. So yeah, I think that's the best decision I made, was to just really make a go of it, come what may. What's the worst career decision you've ever made? Well, what's the worst? I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes, but I'm hesitant to dwell on them, because I think it's easy to look back at things that you didn't do and think, well, you know, if I'd done that, then everything would have been so much better. But the truth is, nobody knows what would have happened if we'd done things differently. And I think it's quite negative to regret in that sense. I think it's good to regret if you can grow and learn from it and go on to make better decisions, but you'll never know what would have happened, and who's to say that it would have been great. It might have been awful. So that said, I was backing singer for a very famous American singer for about 18 months called Belinda Carlilse, and I regret that when we went to Japan together, I just got very overtired because of the jet lag, and I wasn't experienced in how to deal with lack of sleep and all that sort of thing. And I went out with some of the band and had too much to drink, so that when it came to actually doing our important show that we'd gone to Japan to do for the record company, I was not on my best form. And I think that ultimately led to me not working for her anymore, which was a shame because I enjoyed that job. So yeah, I think that was bad. And I mean, I went on to release my own records in my own right, so that was good. And I never really wanted to be a backing singer as a career, but yeah, I just feel, I mean, it went okay, but I feel like I didn't do my best work, and that, yeah, that's not good. That's definitely not good. Yeah, whether that's a really bad career decision, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I think on that point, it's, you know, it's good to remember that this is a job, and whilst a lot of this job, especially if you're more in the performing aspect of it, you know, you are around people having fun and people having parties and alcohol and everything, but, you know, it's important to remember that you are at work, and especially these days with everybody filming everything, you know, that you don't want that on a permanent record, yourself behaving like an idiot when you're supposed to be working. So yes. What would you be doing if you were me now? Okay, so I'm going to say, what would I be doing if I was aged between 16 and 20 and I was at college? Well, I actually didn't go to college. I left school after GCSEs. You were allowed to then, and just kind of joined bands and did what I wanted to do. Wasn't really an option for me to go to college at the time, but I wasn't ever much good as a student in a formula, you know, in a formal sense. So yeah, so what I did was just kind of found my own way. I did have opera singing lessons because I used to lose my voice quite a bit because my voice is powerful, but I didn't know how to use it. So I did have opera training, which has stood me in really good stead, has been fantastic. So what would I do if I was you? If I was you and I was at college, I mean, difficult now in the lockdown because you're kind of not at college, are you? I mean, you are and you're not. But I would just use this time while presumably you're living at home and you're being supported, you know, financially and looked after by your parents or your carers. You know, really use this time, use every moment you can to expand your skill set, you know, work really hard on whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's your singing or your songwriting or learning an instrument. Just learn as much as you can. And part of what I wanted to do by offering to do this interview and get some of my friends to be interviewed for Caroline Hall for you all was, you know, this is a great time to learn about what other people have done, what they, you know, what they've done right, what they've done wrong, what they could have done differently. And, you know, I think autobiographies are a great source of inspiration. And I suppose these little interviews are sort of mini autobiographies. So I hope they're helpful and you can learn from them. So yeah, just really use your time, because trust me, once you start having to make a living, and if you're not lucky enough to immediately start doing that as a musician or in the media business or whatever it is that you're hoping to do, you know, you may look back on this time when you had all this free time and kick yourself. So yeah, just work really, really hard, learn as much as you can. And although at this time we can't get together, we can get together online and, you know, really build those relationships with the people on your course and other musicians. And if you've got access to some recording equipment or even basic apps on your phone that you can use now, which doesn't have to be expensive, you don't have to have the best equipment, you know, just really get involved in making music with other people or films or whatever it is that you're doing. Just, you know, really just think outside the box and get involved in as many good projects as you can. Question 5, how do you organise your time? Wow, well, how do I organise my time? I try to do some exercise usually early on in the day, because I find that if I don't get out and move around, then I feel quite cooped up. So I don't do anything intense. I mainly just go for a walk or a bike ride. So I would probably tend to, in the mornings, I tackle my emails and admin, and I do a bit of PR on work, post a couple of things on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, just to keep that ticking over. Then I go for my walk, have my mid-morning coffee. And then I'm usually working on something. So at the moment, for example, I am writing an online course on how to teach people how to write top lines, which, as I mentioned earlier, is the melody and lyrics, because that's mainly what my career as a songwriter has consisted of, is writing top lines. So so I'm working on that, so I'll spend a bit of time doing that. Before the end of last year, I did a course to learn how to DJ, because even at my age and after everything I've done, I'm still wanting to learn new things and develop skills and do different types of work. So every day I spend an hour or two practicing my DJing and learning more about that, so that when we're all allowed out again, I can do that as a job as well as my singing. I am also working on new material, so I'm making an acoustic album, and I'm also writing some new dance music tracks. So I guess what I really do is I have a system. So I use my iCal on the computer, and I have color-coded sections for my life. So for example, purple is my writing, and dark purple is my live work, which is not very active at the moment. And I have a to-do list, and that's in order of priority. So what needs doing first, or what I want to get done first, and I just really kind of work through it. And these days I do try to have the evenings off. I'm in lockdown here with my husband, who's an illustrator and photographer, Max Ellis, and my sons Zebedee and Gulliver, who some of you might know. So we try to do something together as a family in the evenings, not, watch a film, have dinner, whatever. So yeah, trying to get a balance so that we don't all go completely mad. So how do I organise my time? I basically have a plan of what I want to do, and I just make sure that it gets done bit by bit. 6, what do you think is your greatest strength? Well, I am very lucky that I have an innate musical ability. I am naturally very musical, and I'm naturally a good singer, and I have a very wide face and a very large rib cage, so I've got a lot of physical attributes which help. So all of that is amazing. In terms of personality, I think I'm very hardworking. I'm tenacious, so I don't give up. I'm always looking for new projects to get involved with, new people to work with, new ideas. And I also keep the relationships that I've built throughout my career alive, because I think one of the most important things in life is your network. And you may have heard the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's, to some extent, is true, and it's not a mysterious phrase. What that means is, make friends, get to know lots of people, work with different people. The people that you're at college with now, who knows where they'll be in 2, 5, 10 years time. They could be the people making the big movies, or having the hit records. And you can all work together, you can form bands, you can do make music for films, TV, whatever, so I think, yes, so a greatest strength, I think, is that I am sociable and I'm friendly and I hope on the whole fun to be around, which is good. So what do you think is your greatest weakness? Greatest weakness. I do sometimes, doubt myself, and I can find it hard to get going. And I think that's difficult being, when you're self-employed as well and you work a lot on your own, as I do. So I try to counteract that by getting involved with other people on projects, so that there are people relying on me and saying, right, come on, Katherine, let's get this next bit done. Because I think I'm not great at just being completely left to my own devices. I need interaction. I need that social aspect to keep me going and to keep me cheerful. How do you make decisions? I think how do I make decisions? Goodness. I suppose looking back through my career, I've always just tried to do my best work with the best people available, or the most fun people, the people that I like. So I've really tried to have fun, and I know some amazing people in this business, just that have been friends for decades, and I think that's been one of my big things in decision making, is that I've worked with people that I really like and that I admire. How do I make decisions? Yes, I suppose with deadlines are helpful. So if I know that I've got to have a certain song done by a certain time, or a certain part of my course written by a certain time, then then I'll obviously prioritise that and get that done first. And it's not possible to do everything that you might want to do or that everybody else wants you to do. So I need to decide what I have time for, what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do, and be direct with people if I'm not going to work with them, or if I don't have time to do something, or if I'm delayed getting something to them. I've learnt that, people don't really mind, myself included, if something is late, as long as I know what's going on. So I try to do that for other people too. If I'm going to be late or delayed or not do something that I've said I was going to do, I will let people know. What do you read? Well, at the moment I'm reading quite a lot of news, because I'm just fascinated by this whole situation, and dreadful as it is a historic time that generations to come will be reading about and learning about, and I'm just quite fascinated to see how different leaders around the world are tackling this, and how people are coping, and all the incredible stories that are coming out of this. So I'm reading a lot of news. I'm actually reading what's it called? I've got it. One moment. I'm reading I'm reading this at the moment, which is backwards. Be at peace with life, just as it is. Yeah, I was invited to do a 21-day meditation course by a friend since the lockdown. I thought, why not? And it was on abundance, and it was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. So since doing that course, I've decided that I'm going to spend 15 to 20 minutes of the day on sort of self-reflection or kind of working on myself. So this is a book that I bought some time ago, which I've been meaning to read. So yeah, I'm reading that. It's quite good. To be honest, I have kind of got out of the habit of reading books that much lately. I'm just finding it hard to concentrate. But yeah, so that's what I'm reading at the moment. News and self-help books. What do you think are the secrets behind getting to where you've got to? Okay, well, the secrets are that I decided I was going to do it. I made a commitment to myself that I wasn't going to give up. I've been flexible in my focus. So I set out to... My aim when I set out at the age of 14 and I decided this was what I wanted to do, and then at 20 when the idea crystallized into something that I actually started doing, I wanted to be a kind of, you know, very famous, well-known singer in a band, probably with guitars, sort of rock-based, and I've kind of ended up working mainly in dance music, which is another form of music that I've always really loved. I like all kinds of music if it's good and it moves me. I'm not really bothered about the style. Yes, so I've been flexible. So within that, you know, wanting to be the lead singer in a famous band, but what that's led me to has been, you know, a songwriter for other artists, a songwriter for myself, a session singer doing vocals for famous artists, doing their backing vocals in the studio or doing their backing vocals live. Or I spent about 1.5 years working on radio idents, so like Radio 1 and Capital FM. They're called idents, so I did sort of 1.5 years of those for all the capital radio stations and Radio 1. Adverts for Gaviscon, Coca-Cola, KFC, film music such as What a Girl Wants and Evita and Gravity, the movie. What else have I done? I've been in bands, so I was in a 70s band for years. I've worked in a jazz FM show band with, you know, I worked on a cruise ship in a little orchestra doing covers. I've worked internationally in nightclubs singing to playback, so my songs that I've had out that have been hits with the vocals removed, so I've travelled the world singing those in clubs. Yeah, I've done everything from stadiums to tiny little bars. I've even done some extra work as like an extra in TV and film at one time. But yes, just really sort of anything to keep going within the industry. And over the time that I've been doing this, you know, there have been some very hard times. Either financially or, you know, I had a big record deal that didn't work out and that was really gutting, and, you know, having to pick yourself up after that. And then there have been some incredible times when I've had hit records, or, you know, I've been recognised on the bus because people have seen my video, or, you know, performing Gravity live in Vienna with a full orchestra and choir in a gorgeous theatre, you know, and having that televised and feeling very proud, and, you know, so yeah, real ups and downs, but through it all I've sustained a career in the industry, which was always what I wanted. And it says, question 10, what do you think are the secrets behind getting to where you're going, where you've got to? But you see, the thing is, I'm still going somewhere. I haven't stopped. So I'm even now looking, you know, at new people to work with, new projects to get involved with. And obviously with the lockdown, I had 1 year's worth of gigs lined up, which have now gone. So all that money's gone. I'm self-employed, so I'm not entitled to a huge amount of help. So, you know, that's why I'm going back to developing this online course that I'm working on, because, you know, we have to adapt, we have to change, we have to keep going. So, yes, I really hope that that is helpful, everything that I've said, and I want to wish you all the very best of luck. And, you know, don't forget to have fun. You know, this is a fantastic career, and there is a lot of opportunity. And I think you're very lucky now with the internet and everything that, you know, you can work with people all over the world. It's amazing. And even in this situation now where we're all confined to our homes, you can still be doing a huge amount. So just be thankful that this isn't happening, you know, wasn't happening in the, I don't know, the 80s when I was your age, because if this had been happening in the 80s, I would have just been at home on my own. What would I have been doing? I probably would have tried to get a guitar and learn how to play it or something. But yes, so don't, you know, try not to be down. You've got a lot of opportunity, and, you know, you can really make the most of this time and turn it to your advantage. Good luck, everybody.